Hi there, everybody. So what's the current screen you guys see of mine?
I am seeing a question screen. Well,
Or
I can see the slides over on the side, so you're not in
how's
presenter.
this? Okay. Once I do this, let me know how this goes. Should be
Yes,
good, right?
yep,
Okay,
I'm
great.
using today's technology, the title screen.
Great. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Uh, as a board member as well in the Midwest users group, we had a really good attendance last week, and I did show some of these same type of data in that. So it might be redundant for some of you, but I did forewarn you guys last week that that might be the case. But so apologies to those that have attended both sessions. So I'm going to show a very simplistic approach to how we've utilized Power BI over the last year. As before we started our migration to Azure Cloud, one of the struggles we had was getting all the data out of all of our different PCNs across North America and Dominican Republic to a more consolidated central view with simple visuals of things we wanted to measure with our company KPIs. And then it started to transition down into the views were so simplistic and the cost was low that we started to drill some of these Power BI visuals into certain things in some plant operations as well. So you guys already know enough about me. I did serve on the cab with Plex for probably about 8 years on and off. And we do automotive, medical, and industrial, but we're primarily automotive. So we have different challenges with different customers. We're really starting to focus more back on our core competency with plastic injection molding, where we started to diversify into other areas of chrome plating. We still do some painting and such, but with the challenges of COVID, we've actually had some drop in revenue. We've refocused some things through COVID and really understood that plastic injection molding and modular assemblies where our core competencies at. So our problem statement, basically, like I was saying, we take a lot of data out, a lot of PCNs, try to consolidate them. I have a very small staff, a very small IT staff. So, a lot of the issues that we had trying to get decisions at a corporate level out of Plex, we don't have any internal developer resources. We've leaned on groups like Revolution Group to write us some consolidated reports for different things. And for a lot of companies our size and some of the struggles we're up against, that can be costly and hard to justify. So, our main issue even too is with, not just data in Plex, but data in our HRIS system, data out of Excel that we manage a lot. So a lot of different data, a lot of different servers. So one of the pieces is doing kind of a SWOT analysis and figure out where our biggest risks were. Our data silos was probably one of our biggest risks in our company. So we decided we need to go to the cloud, right, and do some consolidation. And before we got to that journey, we found the tool of Microsoft Power BI, and we already owned licensing in Office 365. We did have an SQL server in the cloud. So where we took this is to get something done quickly through COVID and with less resources even available and opportunities. We started to leverage Power BI and the odbc connection. So some of you that on the call may not be familiar with odbc or what that functionality is. We'll get into that a little bit. So using odbc as a connection to all the data tables on the report server in Plex, where you can just basically, it's a one way, but you can basically pull the data for any of the tables that you need. A little bit different than APIs where certain tables have to be accessible. And then we took that data and we massaged it in. And actually, when we started out, we massaged it in Microsoft Access, not even SQL. We were just looking at some very focused objectives around capacity. And then, then leveraged Power BI to develop those visuals. And then we'll get into a little bit about how we use Teams to serve that data. And then kind of like future where we're going with it with Azure. And then obviously leveraging some Office 365. So how does ODBC work and why do I need it? So something that I'm disappointed in myself in is years ago. I mean, it's been available for a long time, and we just never leveraged it for whatever reasons, probably because we were implementing and just weren't really thinking on a more of a corporate objective level. So, Plex is obviously our data engine, and ODBC we use to extract that data. And now we're utilizing SQL to kind of form it, and Power BI to visualize it, and obviously Teams to serve it. So other databases can be used that don't have to be SQL, like I mentioned, Access. And then in the call last week, there's actually some customers that have kind of taken with just using Plex only data. They've kind of taken that out of the mix where they're connecting Power BI directly to Plex with stored procedures and such. So how and where do I get the ODBC driver for Windows? Issue a Plex support ticket. They've got really good documentation around this tool. You'll see a screenshot of it right there. I mean, it's basically like any other install. They'll guide you through that, but then they'll provide you with a PDF called ODBC Progress Data Direct Client documentation. Very nice step-by-step. Plex does charge for the ODBC connectivity. It's not much at all, so nothing to really fear there. And like I said, it does connect to the report server. So how do you install it and connect? So their documentation in that PDF I mentioned is very good at step-by-step. So your IT group will be familiar, and if they've never done it before, if they follow the documentation in regards to this, they will not have any troubles. So Microsoft Teams, how we've used Teams is we were a happy accident was before COVID struck us. We actually went live in Microsoft Teams as a company in January of 2020, and started to utilize it through January and February before March and April came along when a lot of the automotive stuff shut down. So since we already had that tool, we started to consolidate a lot of our projects and collaboration through Teams, because we are a very scattered company, even from a leadership group. A lot of our leadership is not in the same building. So, we create channels in different, a lot of department related collaborative projects or large continuous improvement projects. We'd create their own team sites and use certain channels in there to focus a lot of our objectives through continuous improvement through those channels. So stop emailing each other back and forth, stop storing files and emails and emailing back and forth. Really changed our mindset on what's a better way to collaborate as a team, and stop using email as a communication channel, and stop using email as a file server, and truly collaborate and chat back and forth and use that communication through Microsoft Teams. So it was a game changer for us, and it really helped us through COVID, being able to remain close. So one story I always tell about Teams is through COVID, obviously when all of our automotive plants shut down, we had to do a lot of temporary furloughs, unfortunately. But as an executive team, we're all working from home, and we used the cameras, and a lot of people were uncomfortable with it, but we poked enough fun at people to get them to start using it. And honestly, it brought us closer together. And we did it for all through the summer. We did. There was a lot of times we were doing daily meetings every morning on COVID topics and such, and reactionary and predictive type stuff we were planning, and got each other inside of our homes, and really got to know each other, know each other's spouses and dogs, et cetera, et cetera. So just a mention, I always like to put out there, if people's looking for another way to collaborate as a corporation, we've been very happy with Microsoft Teams, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody on the side if they've been considering that. So another thing that's cool about Teams is apps you can add. So if you have like let's say here we got maybe a GoToMeeting, there's a GoToMeeting app that you can put in Teams. They have some conflicting or competitive things they do with each other, but Microsoft's very open to allowing other apps people use, so you can still collaborate through GoToMeeting within a Teams channel, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do a lot of really cool polls. You can get feedback, you can do task planning, and it has really good analytic reporting around project planning and such. I'm not going to say it's Microsoft project level, but it does help you keep things on task. So, giving teams a big prop here in this presentation. So I'm going to give a demo on Microsoft Teams and how we're using Power BI in that particular application. So let me switch on over to Teams here. Does everybody see this this app of Power BI within Teams currently?
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect. So what you'll see here is this is Microsoft Teams allows, like I said, the apps, and Power BI is one of those apps that allows within it. So basically all you need to serve the data for a user is a license for Power BI, and we're currently paying $10 a month per user. So this isn't something you want to put across a company for 300 people to consume the data that you're putting in Power BI. There's other ways to do that, whether it's a Teams and Power BI enterprise type server licensing, where you pay for more of a mass mass display of the data versus trying to pay for it user by user. So there's different strategies with Microsoft that you can do that. But our current way, since we've got maybe 20 users using getting served this data, we have 2 people that develop these visuals within Power BI, and so we're that's kind of like currently how we're using the system. But I just want to just do a run through of how we're currently using it. So you'll see here up top we got tabs of inventory capacity and schedule attainment, different things in Plex that we fell a little short on. We don't have a Vision Plex developer, we don't have an IntelliPlex developer, but we were able to pull this data through odbc and be able to develop these kind of reports. So I'll start with finished goods by customer. The red, green, and yellow is simply by those customers. How are we setting with min, max, and target inventory with the different colors? So, and we can, you can click on these and break them down farther and farther. So if I clicked on the Toyota, it obviously just changes all the data for you on the fly. It's very, very simple and easy to navigate for somebody. Monthly inventory summary with ideal. Using min maxes within Plex. It's using a lot of that data pulling from Plex and just giving us an opportunity to visualize that. Simple drop downs for what plant do you want to look at? How do I want to see each of the plants? And be able to simply get those quick visuals for top level management to see where things are at. Whoops, I didn't mean to jump off to that quick. Let's see here. Inventory turns. Plex has that visual, right? So but is it, they have that data, but to easily serve that, you can see the inventory turns across the company there. Again, keeping it consistent from the plants, you can see, you can just navigate to which facility. Obviously see the huge drop. We all know what happened in April 2020, so we don't have to go through that. And then plant level, what do we do through the plant level on this? We can really break down using data tables and Plex to determine what's obsolete, what's service, what's mass pro, et cetera, and break that down there again by part type, by plant. Very easy to navigate for top level to find out, hey, where's our opportunities? Where are we sitting with this, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see here, capacity. So capacity in Plex, all the data's there. The visuals there again, if you're not using Vision Plex or have the ability to do Vision Plex, once you pull it out of odbc, we've developed things where we're doing some daily management in the plants to, COVID, when things ramped back up, how difficult it was to measure how many people do you need for a particular facility for a particular week based on the releases coming in due to COVID. So we'd measure machine hours by plant. We would measure, but you can do it by tonnage, and then include head count in there to be able to forecast, with what releases we have in there, what are those, the volatility of our labor, and when do we need to start ramping and bringing people back in. So it was very, very big for us to be able to have simple visuals like this. Let's see here. How about changeovers? Measuring, Circleville facility, we do, before COVID, we were doing about 71 tool changes a day. and we didn't really have real good visuals of that out of Plex of how many changes we were doing. So creating a quick visual understanding the changes we were doing through that, and you can see we were, we were really high on a lot of the mold changes that we were doing, and we're currently now down to like 25 to 30 a shift. So we've definitely dropped that down. So actually our average now is 23. It shows over here. So I don't mean to like give a financial or a performance overview of our company, but I just wanted to kind of make everybody be able to see, how we're utilizing these BI tools and how it was making us better. A lot of you with schedule attainment, how many jobs are we scheduling at lot size, total jobs over lot size, how many jobs are we running over production in this range? We can slice that down. However far you need to slice that down, et cetera, et cetera. So giving us a lot of good data, very easy to visualize, very easy to sort it. So it's been a really powerful tool for us, and we're looking to continue to expand its capabilities. So I'll jump back to the presentation here. So what's next for us, right? So we're going to Azure here. We're looking at pulling data from other systems. We're going to migrate 18 of our servers to the cloud and really leverage Microsoft's IoT strategy, their cloud strategy and data consolidation. We're definitely looking at going to the next level of Industry 4.0 and trying to drive to that level, using IoT, et cetera. But you can see a lot of the different data sources we have over here with SharePoint. Cella, we're bringing Cella on board, really excited about that. Mach 2 collecting all kinds of data for us, and us being able to take the data that we're getting from machines and be able to massage them into, and be able to serve that data into, very functional dashboards and creating alerts and helping us be more predictive and preemptive on our operations. And then injection molding with is our core competency for doing more automation and process monitoring and understanding, being a little bit more, driving more automation in our quality initiatives and delivery initiatives versus relying at the end of the line to try to find bad product. Let's let technology determine a good and bad part, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. Next steps through 2021 is leverage these new platform tools that we have and get to the next level. So yeah, we can go ahead and open it up for questions here and a little reflection on 2020. I know it's spilling into 2021, but it wasn't bad for everyone. So let's keep some perspective there.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Tony, for that presentation. I think you had a polling question maybe as well that we were going to put up here real quick.
Okay.
So we'll give everyone a minute to answer that question. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a look at the results there. So do you currently and actively use an odbc connection to Plex ERP database? So 50-50 there, 50% yes, 50% no on that.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what questions we have here. Please talk about the data architecture between the odbc access and the input to the Power BI dashboard. Import, direct query, SSIS, SSAS. I'm curious about the size of .pbix files and duplication of data.
That's a good question. If that is important, we're doing queries. But I would like my Power BI developer to answer that question. I don't believe he was able to join the call. But we can take that one offline. Just reach out to me directly. If you don't have my contact information, it's tbrown@egindustries.com.
Okay, great. We can definitely help facilitate the answer there to that question. Another question, what learning resource did you use for configuring Power BI to query Plex and refresh the data, et cetera?
So we did get some support from Plex and some direction from that. The Power BI stuff was from a book, literally self-taught. That wasn't me. I'm a navigator. But the gentleman is actually a production scheduler, and as things were slow for that plant, he wanted to fill some more time. And one of those people who said, "Is there anything that any initiatives you're trying to drive you need support with?" And I knew he had some decent access database skills and kind of a data czar. So I said, "Learn Power BI, and I'll give you plenty of work." And that's how it started.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always great to have those people who are willing to take on a new challenge and learn something new. Okay, that looks like all of the questions that we have. So thank you, Tony, again for your presentation.